Jennifer. Hi, Leanna.
Oh, hi. How are you all?
Good. How are you today?
Doing well. So we hear that you all are on a restoration and preservation tour of the property, and so we're glad you could join us here in the restoration room. So we love this room. We call it the restoration room because it really peeled back the layers on the restoration process and also on building processes of the time period. And so one hidden treasure, so just beyond the bones of the building, we have this really wonderful wall painting, this really beautiful little decorative element here. Really the only, piece of remaining wall painting. It's the last bit of evidence, so that's why we kept it uncovered so people could sort of see this really unique evidence here in the restoration room.
This is obviously a really unique space, and I think it really speaks to kind of the importance of the preservation process that went into this historic home. And since you mentioned the wall painting, Tessa's been taking me around the property and showing me different examples of the preservation process at these different sites across the whole property. And so we're really interested in kind of delving into the history and the restoration of the main house, the main Madison house. And so she mentioned that you could tell us a little bit about the importance of the wallpaper in the preservation process.
Absolutely. So we love, love, love our wallpaper. Most of the first floor rooms have wallpaper. The evidence that was found, both physical evidence in the case of the drawing room and then documentary evidence that, suggested other types of wallpaper patterns, really clued us into the fact that a lot of these rooms of this early, 19th century time period were all about the wallpaper. If we go downstairs and go to Mr. Madison's room, I think that's a great space where we can really talk a little bit more about what this reproduction wallpaper process was and get to see it in the actual room itself. Well, welcome down here to Mr. Madison's room. This room is right now interpreted to be Madison's later time in life, so towards the end of his life when he's more bedridden, so that explains the giant bed behind us. And this room initially would have been a second parlor space, which is why it has wallpaper. So sometimes bedrooms, like some of the upstairs rooms, sometimes they have wallpaper, sometimes they don't. But this room has wallpaper because it was initially configured to be a secondary parlor space. So I think we should step up and we can get a closer look at the wallpaper and talk a little bit about how we source our reproduction wallpaper and the process that goes into making that wallpaper. So now that we can take an up-close look, we can really get a feel for what this wallpaper process was like. So this particular wallpaper was chosen based on documentary evidence. We knew there was wallpaper in this space, but there wasn't really any physical evidence, so this is what we call our curatorial best guess. This is called green net, and it's sort of this net/trellis design. It was just a really popular motif, so it's period appropriate. It was European in design, but was reproduced here in the States. This is actually based on an existing wallpaper pattern that was found in the New England area, still surviving, so it's based on an actual period pattern. And so we have this wallpaper reproduced for us. There's this wonderful company called Adelphi Paper Hangings, and they specialize in doing this hand-blocked wallpaper. And so what I really love to think about is all of these different colors and layers are each a separate block application. So they created these big carved wooden blocks, and so each iteration is a different stamping essentially. So you have to put your base layer. So here the base layer is this sort of gray marbleized look, so that would be your first stamp layer, and then you get into all the different nettings. But when you get up and close, you can see there's 3 different colors in this netting, so that means 3 different applications. So it's a very involved process to reproduce this hand-blocked wallpaper. And so what makes it really special is that even though it's a modern reproduction, it was made with these historic practices in mind. So it really feels authentic to the space and to the time period.
Thank you guys for sharing all this wonderful information with us today. It's really been fascinating, so we really appreciate it. But we are about to wrap up our tour, so we are going to head out. But again, thank you guys for sharing with us.
Yeah, absolutely. We love being able to share this information with our visitors and with our esteemed colleagues. So thank you all for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your tour. Bye.
Bye.